There's a lovely song that goes like this. Stand up for Jesus. In Daniel chapter 6, we see Daniel standing up for God. We need to stand for God in the area of our character. Daniel stood up for God in the area of character. Character has to do with who we are. Character has to do with exactly who you are. Not what people think you are, not who people think you are, but who you are. And it's remarkable to note that nothing of critical or adverse kind is mentioned in the scripture about Daniel. Although he lived in a pagan culture, he was a man of character and a model of spirituality. His character stood out from the crowd to the extent that the king, who is Darius at this particular time, appointed him as one of the 3 administrators in the Babylonian kingdom. This is what verse 1, 2, and 3 says of Daniel chapter 6. It pleased Darius to appoint 120 satraps to rule throughout the kingdom, with 3 administrators over them, one of whom was Daniel. The satraps were made accountable to them so that the king might not suffer loss. Now Daniel so distinguished himself among the administrators and the satraps by his exceptional qualities that the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. We are told he had exceptional qualities. He was a man of character, to the extent that his enemies could not find ground to accuse him of any wrongdoing. We see this in verse 4 and 5. And this is what it says. At this, the administrators and the satraps tried to find ground for charges against Daniel in his conduct of government affairs, but they were unable to do so. They could find no corruption in him because he was trustworthy and neither corrupt nor negligent. Finally, this man said, "We will never find any basis for charges against this man, Daniel, unless it has something to do with the law of his God." Daniel was a man of character, whose record was spotless in every respect. And friend, as children of God, we need to be a people who have character. We need to be a people who stand out, a people who are trustworthy, a people who are not corrupt, a people that, no one can accuse of wrongdoing. How I pray that we shall be men and women of character. Apart from standing up for God in the area of character, we also need to stand up for Him in our commitment. We need to stand up for God in our commitment wherever He has placed us. Daniel was committed to God despite much pressure to compromise. He was not ashamed of God even when his devotion to Him meant risking his life. And verse 10 to 13 of Daniel chapter 6 says, "Now when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, he went home to his upstairs room where the window opened towards Jerusalem. 3 times a day, he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to God, just as he had done before. Verse 11. Then these men went as a group and found Daniel praying and asking God for help. So they went to the king and spoke to him about his royal decree. Did you not publish a decree that during the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or man except to you, O king, would be thrown into the lion's den? The king answered, the decree stands in accordance with the laws of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed. Then they said to the king, Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, O king, or to the decree you put in writing. He still prays 3 times a day. What a man of commitment. Regardless of what others might say or what the outcome might be, Daniel is committed to continue praying. He could not compromise his commitment to the Lord. You know, he did not alter his ways even to appease the king. Even at the risk of his own job, he continued to seek God in prayer. And friend, we need to stand up for God in the area of commitment. Commitment has something to do with giving of yourself fully, being totally sold out to God. And here is a man who is totally sold out to the Lord, totally sold out to the Lord, that he is standing up for him in the midst of threats around. And I put it to us that we need to be a men and women who are totally committed, totally sold out to the Lord in our lives. Commitment to God will keep you going even when it is tough and it doesn't seem to be convenient. Well, other than standing up for God in our character and commitment, we also need to stand up for him in the area of our confidence. We need to stand up for God in the area of where we place our confidence. Daniel is a man who had great confidence in his God, that God was gonna rescue and preserve him even in the lion's den. And as much as Darius is the one who ordered that Daniel should be thrown into the lion's den, Darius seems to have this great confidence that Daniel's God would preserve him. And look what the king says from verse 16 onwards. It says, so the king gave the order, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the lion's den. The king said to Daniel, may your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you. Even the king seems to have confidence that there's something unique about this God that Daniel worships. Verse 19. At the first light of dawn, the king got up and hurried to the lion's den. When he came near the den, he called to Daniel in an anguished voice, Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions? Daniel answered, O king, live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I ever done anything wrong before you, O king. The king was overjoyed and gave orders to lift Daniel out of the den. And when Daniel was lifted from the den, no wound was found on him, Because, I like this last part, because he had trusted in his God. Because he had confidence that his God would rescue and preserve him. God did it. The same king who had issued a decree, listen to what he says. I'll start from verse 25. Then King Darius wrote to all the people, nations, and men of every language throughout the land, may you prosper greatly. Verse 26, I issue a decree that in every part of my kingdom, people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. Wow! Friends, we need to place our full confidence in God. We need to stand up for God by placing our confidence in Him all the time. Challenges will come our way. Our faith will be tested. But you need to have confidence that if you stand on the Lord's side and hold on to Him, He will come and fight for you. He will come and show Himself powerful on your behalf. Are you confident in God? Will you stand up for Him and exemplify godly character? Will you stand up for Him and exemplify godly commitment? Will you stand up for God and exemplify full confidence in Him? Daniel did it, and so can we.